What's up, mother foxers? I am sitting in the Dirty Pirate Hooker. I say that like a superhero. Today we're going to stick the dash in, but I do have to do a couple of things. One is tighten up the master cylinder, get the brake pedal hooked up to it, because it's kind of hard to do when the dash is in here. So the other thing is the four-way switch. Now, in order to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the plug, okay? And that's just the plastic piece right there, not this wire. Now, somebody suggested that I do that with the plug for the multi-switch before. The reason why I didn't do that, I thought about doing it before I got that comment. The reason why I didn't do it was, one, the reason why that broke after 30 years was those wires were really tight into that plug. They were just long enough to plug into there, so they're pulling on that plastic for 30 years. No wonder it gave out. So I wanted to give it a little more length, and it had, when the two wires came together, one wire was coming from one side to go with another on a couple of those wires, which was stupid. I don't know why Ford ever did that. That's why I had it wired in like that. I wanted to give it a little more length so there wasn't so much pressure on that plug. With this, it isn't like that. There's not a lot of pressure on it, so I don't need to use all this. I just need the plug. So I'm just going to de-pin the plug for that, which is somewhere, one of these things here, and go ahead, right here, and just de-pin all these and then pin them into this, and that'll make it easy enough. There's no reason to lengthen the wire on those, and the wire's not cracked or anything. They're all nice, they're all connected good, so no reason to do that. So we'll de-pin this and get that in there. As soon as we get that, we'll get the dash in here, and then we'll go ahead and gotta pin up the wire in a couple spots in the dash to get ready to put it in. So, and then I got this fun thing to, yeah. So, and I got a couple of plugs I gotta figure out here. So, anywho, let me get on to doing this, and yeah, a little bit of fun. All right, guys, there's a look at the LMR diagram for the four-way switch on their website. Here is just the switch. Of course, you know, if you guys don't know, there's little tabs in there. You probably can't see it. You just bend them toward the middle to pull those little pins out of there. And I got them all right here. I'm just going to match them up with what it says on here and put that new switch in. And by the way, if you want to see the other switch, here it is. This one didn't want to come out, but it didn't matter because it was cracked down the side, so I just broke it open the rest of the way. And all the pins, or all the little plastic tabs holding the pins in, are all broke off. When I went to push them over to pull the wires out, they just disintegrated, man. Right there. There's like 2 of them left. So we'll have this done in a minute. See, guys, this is exactly the kind of shit I'm talking about from the Ford Motor Company. Everything went in there nice, right? You see this last one? Look at this. I can't get that up in there. It's too short. It's too short. If I put that in there and it hits on that pin, it's gonna be pulling constantly on the pin. And that's what disintegrates these. So I'm gonna have to go find a piece of wire. Looks like to be 14 gauge wire, I think, maybe some 16, and lengthen that by a 1/4 inch, you know. And there's no more wire to pull through here because I just went up where I just taped all this. There's no pulling it. Everything is tight in here, so there's no pulling this up. So I'm gonna have to freaking cut this, put probably I don't know, Not even an inch of wire on it. It's so dumb, so dumb. And I can't leave it like that, man. That's what's aggravating to me. A quarter inch away from being done with something, and I gotta lengthen it just so it'll make it in there and not pull on this thing. And yeah, this is dumb, dude. This is so dumb. All right. Well, update. This car officially has more nuts holding the brake booster on than it did when I bought it. There's 4. What I didn't know when I bought it, there was only 1 nut holding the brake booster on, and it wasn't even tight. So anyway, as you can see, I had to rip open my harness. Why? Because I found a couple of cracks. This ain't the whole wire, by the way. I found a couple of cracks in another section that I cut off. And I traced it, and it's basically, I know it's red, but it's a ground to the radio. And it just gets bolted to the dash with just a hoop there. And I was trying to repair it, and then we discovered it was cracking right by where it was taped up. And then I had to undo it all. And yeah, guys, it's cracked all the way down this wire. And I had everything taped up except for that little bit that was exposed. That's how fire starts, guys. That's how fires start. So I am replacing it with a big fatty. And I already, in my box of wire, already had a hoop on it, so we're good there. So now I gotta fish this back through the harness and tape it back up again, and we're good to go. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to pull this vacuum line out. This is for the AC. Forgot to pull this vacuum line when I put the heater box in, so I had to take it out, slip that through, put it back in. And of course then I had to fix that other wire. Yeah, just delays you don't anticipate. So yeah, we'll get back to it tomorrow, but let me just finish this. Alright guys, next day, let's get this thing in there, okay? I guess it was an oversight on my part about the little things that had to get done first. Whatever, took care of them yesterday, but I think the most difficult part of this whole process is just kind of getting the wiring harness attached to the dash, because I mean it's kind of laid out to where it's got to go. I just got to figure out where I got to anchor it up there to it. But for those of you who don't know about putting dashes, and I've done this several times, got 5 screws that go up to the top there. Then you got a screw that goes down to this corner and a screw that goes down to this corner. And the main part of this whole thing is this thing here. There's a stud on your dash itself with a nut. You don't have to take the nut off, okay? So it's the last thing you take off when you're pulling the dash out. It's the first thing you put in when you're putting the dash in, because that's the main thing that holds it up for you. And then as you get that in there, you just put it up there. You don't, like I said, don't take that nut off, just loosen it. So I mean that's all it's to it. I mean, we're gonna put this dash in here, lay it in here, get this harness kind of attached to it, and then we'll start the process of putting it up in there in this slot here, and then get it in there. So pretty simple, just kind of awkward. That's what a lot of people just are frustrated with these things. It's just an awkward situation of trying to get it in there, but it's not that bad. Not really that bad. I mean, everybody's like, I don't know, I've done this several times, I'm jaded, never mind, let me just get it in. This was a bigger pain than any dash we've stuck in. I think it was because we left it in a little mobile garage there over the summer, and things kind of bent in the heat, and the metal kind of bent. So there's a thing in the middle there that centers the dash. Usually it's this nut you gotta worry about, or the stud, but that thing needed to be put in first for some reason on this because of the bending. Yeah, but usually the stud is what you need to get it on first, and then everything just lines up. But this thing was so bent, it was bowing. It was like going like this. So yeah, we did some finagling, and then the stud that's in there, I said don't take the nut off. Well, that stuff got bent up in there, so we're gonna have to put a big washer on this nut here, even though the nut has a flange on it, to kind of get that to stay in there. So yeah, I got it all in there, man. Wow. And yeah, this here has to, this is for the cluster, it has to come up through here. So we'll get that. I'm not worried about the wiring right now. We're just getting this thing up in there and mounted. So, but let me get this up in there, man. Holy crap. Yeah, I guess don't leave these out in the heat because it bowed on us, and it was just a disaster trying to get it in here. But it still looks good now. We didn't scratch it up any doing that. But it's in there and it's mounted. And now I just gotta do some wire running and whatnot in here, because I know where all these plugs go, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, let me go ahead and get everything tidied up. Alright, there you have it, guys. Well, hang on a second. Let me shut the Slayer off before I get copyrighted here. Yeah, that'll do it. What a bitch. The car and that dash. That was out for quite a while. I think beginning of summer I took that out. And well, beginning of spring or something, yeah. I don't know, it was sitting out there, everything kind of it just bent. But it's in there. I just gotta, you know, make the connections to the wiring harnesses and stuff. That was an ordeal. Wow. That was the biggest pain that we ever had on a dash, and I've done that several times. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching me and my pain. Just let's put the dash in, and then it snowballed into other things, and then that. But later, guys.